Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to FortressCraft Evolved. I'm Accent Evolved, and before we get started, if you are watching this video and you're not subscribed, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, helps me out a whole bunch, and just kind of lets me know that the content I'm putting out is at least decent. So just check down below. If that little subscribe button is red, just turn it gray real quick, and it'll just be a good time. All right, anyway, back to the video. So last time, we had some issues, right? And spoiler alert, we still have some issues. So one of the things, actually, before I get into that, let me kind of show you some of the mitigation that I'm attempting in the short term. So you guys can kind of see what's going on a little bit. You see some changes, but let me actually go through in a little bit of detail some of the steps I'm taking to try to hold this off. So you can see, like right here, we got issues, right? So I'm just going to throw a couple Lancers on there to try to break up this thing right here. Kind of what I've been doing is just going to any power source I could find, grabbing power, tossing down batteries, right? Using glass and throwing a Lancer on. Because I'm trying to sever these tendrils. Because I think that will help me. I think that stops the growth, right? And we have these tendrils everywhere. So it's like every time I get rid of something, something else pops up. So our filtration, particular filtration, is still going. You can see I made it a little bit smaller. I have it running on one filter right now because let me tell you, this stuff is expensive, right? So in fact, how much do we have done? You can see just cryoplasm everywhere. And you can see what I'm doing. You know, I'm throwing out these Lancers as best I can to try to stop the spread, but you know, they take some time. I beefed up the power transmission to some of our things because it's just not keeping up, or it wasn't keeping up. It's keeping up now, but I also put a ton of Lancers around these generators because you can see we have a massive amount of cryoplasm that's leaking in. So I actually ran into an issue where the cryoplasm had stopped the fuel elevators and nothing was getting fuel, and we just risked just being completely choked off. So I've kind of built these glass enclosures around, and I have... Why is that empty? Why are you empty? What's going on here? Is all the power just getting sucked out of here? That might be the case. You're full. Oh, duh. Oh, I had cut that off to make sure that was powered. All right, well, let's do this. And then let's just throw a Lancer on here for good measure. I mean, it's all kind of just... At this point, it's just clear up as much cryoplasm as I possibly can and try to protect some of the vital areas. So you can see our fuel elevator has a little bit of a few Lancers around it to try to make sure that nothing gets in there. The crystal elevator, kind of the same thing. I'm slowly, like I said, trying to cut into this cryoplasm, but honestly, this isn't going to be enough. We're going to have to do some large-scale stuff, so I'm thinking falcore bombers are going to be the answer to that. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit more. But let me show you what I did to try to make something a little bit more permanent, right? So you guys remember we had this battery set up right here. Well, what I've actually done is I've created an entire perimeter of Mark IV batteries. And the goal is, as you can kind of see on some of these, this is going to be kind of like the final defensive line, right? So I've thrown a bunch of Lancers on these batteries, wherever I can, wherever we have a big threat. And eventually I want to kind of repurpose my defenses to originate from this area. So I'm kind of using these guys over here as like a template. So you can see what I did right here is I just had, you know, almost like my own tendrils just coming off of the batteries and extending that way. Well, I want to keep that concept going, just having them originate from these Mark IV batteries instead. So that's kind of the longer term goal for that. I need to get some stuff cleared out before I can really like start dismantling other things and reconfigure my defense. But it's working okay. I've also moved my teleporter over here because that's a little too hot, right? So that's going okay. Is this okay? It looks like we're starting to beat this back a little bit. Have we kind of cut through? Nice. Okay. So yeah, it's doing work slowly but surely, and then we'll get a surge, right? So, you know, work in progress, right? We're trying to make this viable, all while upgrading. You know, it's kind of like an upgrade, fight back the surge, build new defenses, upgrade again. So it's kind of like a repeating process that we're just going to have to keep up with. But in this same vein, a lot of the things we need to grow more is more particles, right? So let's go to the toxic caverns, because that's exactly what I've done. I've set up 2 more filter setups, right? So up here, you see we have just a very basic toxic cavern particulate filtration system. And this is what gives us the chlorine gas. You can see I just did a little jump right off here. I'm not 100% sure I like this location. I may end up actually pushing it out this way, or even this way more, because these lifts are kind of in the way of getting like a perfect setup. But I needed something in the interim just to start getting the compressed chlorine. And how much do we have, speaking of? Oh, another 20. I'll take that. And then lastly, we have stuff down at the magma caves. Magma caves is where we get the compressed sulfur. Pretty much exact same setup. I have the power coming down and then just kind of looping around to the bottom. So I think this is enough space, enough clearance, so I'll be able to just do like the normal setup eventually. But again, only 1 filter, because damn are these expensive. And 36 compressed sulfur. So if we're keeping track here, those are our totals right now. Freeze-on, huge. I'm going to probably start playing around with freeze-on injectors to really make sure our defenses are kind of up to snuff. But I think we're going to have to look into geothermal power to really make this thing to not be so reliant on our fuel production. Because if our fuel production ever fails or doesn't keep up, there's not very many ways I can dramatically increase the amount of fuel we make. Because, you know, I can only harvest resin so fast, and I can only, you know, blah, 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 blah. So, there's that. Now, one thing I need to do, and I want to do right now. Where is my teleporter? Oh, there you are. Okay, so I want to go to the chrome, because with that compressed... Oh my gosh, we've mined out this vein. This is exactly what I was afraid of. This is what I didn't want to have happen. These things are so inefficient that we no longer have a chrome vein over here. Alright, well, you know what? We'll come back to that. Let's at least make sure our molly is good. Basically, I have the materials now to make the Mark II drill. So we need to do that so we can kind of salvage what's going on here, right? But in order to do that, I need the parts. I did not have make a new chrome setup on my list of things to do today, but I guess now it has to be, right? Because we definitely need the chrome. So let's at least get this going, right? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to need more of this. Luckily, I have enough molybdenum that I can get that replaced, but let's throw that on there, right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Gosh, this playthrough just gets better and better, doesn't it? Alright, so that should orient itself. Okay, so that is at least a little bit more efficient. I think there's ways that we can, like... Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I just jumped over like that. I think there's ways that we're going to be able to make this even better in the future. But for now, that's at least more efficient than it was. Alright, so I guess we're going back to Chrome. And I guess I'm demolishing this entire assembly. Luckily, power is not going to be the biggest issue because we can just beam it. I don't think it needs a whole Mark IV battery's worth of power, honestly. I don't know how much power it does take, so we can just use laser energy transmitters. But either way, I need to go... We can keep this, and I can just use pipes to get everything. But I'm going to need to find a bigger source than, like, this one. Because this is pretty tiny. Yeah, that's non-existent. There was another one around here. Let me... Ooh, that's a nice titanium vein. In case we ever need that. 2 million. Okay, I'm going to go look for this other chrome vein, and then I'll bring you guys back once I kind of have some plan. Alright, so I just did a chrome ping. It looks like we have a large chunk right over here. Let's try to get to this one. Is it, like, right here? Are you chrome? Oh, perfect. Alright, so I'm going to figure out... Let me light this place, right? I'm going to need to figure out how to dig this out in such a way that everything works out fine. I think it won't be a big deal. And as long as I have a 3x3 face, I hate how long this takes. I get, like, when you're looking for it, the ping needs to last longer, but now that I've found it, I just want it to go away. I also noticed we have a large chrome vein over there. I'll probably go over there and check out that one too, because we're going to need backups no matter what, either to tap into simultaneously and really just, you know, crank out chrome, or as a backup for when this vein runs out. So let's get this, I'll get this all figured out, and then I'll bring you guys back in when I'm actually getting ready to harvest all this. And real quick, let me just scan this. Okay, 15 million. That's pretty good. 16 million, really. That should last us a bit. I know we can chew through this stuff, so hopefully this will be enough to kind of advance us into a later stage. So, like I said, I'm going to get this set up. I'm going to wait until I have enough for the Mark II trencher. So, in fact, I can kind of put the motor down already, right? So, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This is the drill. And I'll put the motor right here, right? Because we need a 3x3 face, and there's a 3x3 face. So I'll run power, get this thing all ready to go. I'm going to have to run pipes too. We're going to need to do the pipes the same way we did everything else, right? In fact, let me get some 2,000 slot hoppers. In fact, I could probably go bigger, honestly. 5,000 if I want to. The problem is I need these machine blocks way more for other things, so I'm going to just stick to the 2,000 so I don't need to utilize any of those machine blocks until we kind of are ready. So I'll just do 2,000 because we're anticipating this dropping off 1,800 power per or per minute or whatever. So let's do this also. This will be the power channel that I'm going to use. So we'll just literally drop a battery right there. We'll do that. I will encase this in glass so we don't have to worry about anything. And then I'll just bring the power out from our current location. All right, so here's a quick tour of kind of what I'm doing. This is not complete. I ran out of pipes. As you can see, I only have 19 left, and I have like quite a few more runs to make. So the general gist of it, in fact, I wonder if I can even hook up one of these. Let's see. Oh, there's one. I ran out of hardened machine blocks because I'm using them for all alloyed machine blocks. So we're drawing at full, all the way from the bottom, and some of these from the middle, and then we're going to run another line from the top. So it'll make its way up there eventually. But I did get the Mark II drill component set up, so I'm going to go ahead and slap that down. And I hope that the Mark III laser energy transmitter gives it enough power. I guess we'll see. I don't know what the power per second this thing wants is, but it looks to be okay. And in fact, I have a little bit of chromium on me that I'm just gonna throw in there. There you go. There's a little bit going. Look at that. And now this should output, I think, 1,600. Yeah, 1,602 per haul. So once this runs again, boom, we should see quite the influx, but only of the 6 pipes, only 4 are totally connected, and there will end up being 9 total. So in fact, I can't go that way. So the elevators will start working again. I'll start building more pipes, and then I'll eventually finish this off. So so we can ensure that we're not having any downtime, because we can't afford downtime, let me tell you. So now that that's done, something I didn't plan on doing, let's go to magma real quick. I want to see how much sulfur we have, because I want to... The compressed sulfur is important for a few reasons. We need it for some research. 53. Oh, that's not bad at all. Okay, so let's go back to the CPH, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, right? So number one, and I think that the most important thing is we need it for research, right? We need it for long-range cryoplasm defense. And what does that get us? Well, let me just throw that in there. 64. Do I have it on this bar? Doesn't look like it. So let me throw compressed sulfur. So, no, in fact, let me just do this. 64. And then we can just put that in and forget about it. Boom. But long-range cryoplasm defense, what does that give us? 2 very important things. Dazzlers and melters. This is how we're going to... This is like the way to work your way to the cryoplasm spawners. Now, you could, I guess, hypothetically kind of cheese it and use chargeable explosives. I actually tried this out by using some chargeable explosive just to kind of break off some of the cryoplasm that was from, I guess, the biggest spawner of it, I guess the north side, whatever. And it worked. I mean, it blew up a bunch, but you can see how quickly it kind of redoes it or reforms itself. So another thing, do I have... God, this thing is so messy. One day, maybe I'll clean it out. Oh, I have falcores on me. Okay. I also want to build falcore bombers. Here we go. Bomber falcores. I'm going to make like 10? Something like that. And then also, since I'm just right here... Oh, this needs like a ton of power though, huh? Let's do this. I have some batteries. I have a few Mark V batteries. I think they have like a ton of charge in them. Oh, actually, no, I don't, because I stole all the charge for those chargeable explosives. Okay, well, never mind. I guess we're going... well, actually. Let's see what I need, so I make sure I have everything I need down there, right? Imbued machine blocks and compressed sulfur. And 1,500 power per second. Imbued machine blocks, I think I have plenty. And compressed sulfur. Okay. So let's run down there. Cold caverns and see where we can kind of do this. Because I'll need to just like sacrifice some power. In fact, I might just steal it from literally right here. Boom. We'll throw that down. And then I guess I could just throw like a 100... I don't even know if I have a 100 slot hopper on me anymore. Here we go. That's fine. There we go. Alright, that'll be add only. And this will be remove, right? Sulfur going in. And then I'll put 64 in here of these, just so I know that it's the same size. And it should be doing its thing. I know that can give it over 1,500, so... Look at that, cryo bombs. Cryo bombs. Okay, so now what I need to do... Well, I'm going to let that kind of do its thing. But from what I've kind of been reading, bomber falcores are the way to clear out, like, a good amount of cryoplasm at any one time, right? So, you know, it might actually be better. Actually, I kind of like this, though. I was thinking I could set this up down in the magma caves and just use the compressed sulfur that we get directly instead of hand feeding. But then I would be taking 1,600 or 1,500 power per second from that chain as opposed to this power chain. So I think that's actually... It's probably better how we're doing it right now. And has the cryoplasm gotten worse? Question mark. Let me try to block this off too. Also, in the comments, someone kept saying hit Alt-E. Well, that's what Alt-E does. Or I'm sorry, Control-E. Left Control-E. Well, I guess just regular E does it. Just E does it. You don't need to... I think... Gosh, we are getting so many little tendrils. Not looking good. How is this, though? Has this kind of at least severed? Okay. So the way cryo falcores work, I believe you have to. Let me just grab those cryo... 59 already? Oh, man. We are, like, almost done. We're done. Okay. So, I get... Oh, man. Look at that. I almost died. How could I be so dumb? Okay. The way I think these work, I think you kind of have to place down a hopper, right? So I'm just going to literally, like, right here. Boom. I'm going to... Let me put a falcore... Or let me... Cryo bomb. Falcore bomber. Right there, right? So if I do this... I think that counts. Let me try literally putting just one cryo bomb in there. Let me see if it does anything. Oh, okay, okay. Where's it going? Where's it going? Do some damage. What is that? Interesting. Okay, so I think this... Oh, shoot. Let's try putting 10. Let's put in 10 and see how much damage we get done. Either way, I think this is like a decent start, you know? Ooh, that's pretty good, actually. I think this is what we're going to have to do to help clear everything out. Honestly. And this might be how we have to start clearing out paths towards the spawners, right? But that's doing a decent amount of work. It's obviously not as effective if it hits on the edge, but that's still a decent amount. So I'm just going to let that kind of do its thing. I know that there's like some kind of trick, or maybe trick's not the right word, but some kind of technique to this where you got to put them on different like heights. And they'll work kind of differently. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to kind of put them in different spots. And let them do their thing. And kind of see what happens. Because if we can get this cleared out a little bit more, that's just going to make everybody's life easier. You know what I mean? Where's it going? See, like that basically just cleared up. Look at that. Okay, okay. So that's kind of a blessing in disguise, you know what I mean? One other thing I want to look into. Oh, actually, is this working? Are we producing ore again? Yes, we do have chromium. Okay, so I need to make sure that this is doing its thing because we need these blocks like ASAP. In fact, I should also put some bombers over here, huh? What happens if I put them on the ground? That I don't know. Where was that hotbar? Here we go. If I just load it up. The other thing is we're going through these pretty quick. But this is exciting, let me tell you. There's at least some hope for clearing out. Because once we can, you know, if I can... I guess it's like a tiered system, right? I need the better trencher drill heads to get... Where did that one even go? Whatever. They'll kind of do their things and we can replenish as necessary. So it's almost like I need to get the better trencher drill heads in order to get more ore. When I get more ore, I can use that to build more machined blocks, both alloyed and magnetic. And when I get more machine blocks, I can use that to build more particulate filtration, which lets me get more freeze-on injectors, which lets me make everything faster, which lets me build geothermals to get kind of like a better power situation. Because I think I want to do something like, I don't know, like maybe two geothermals per setup, and then a geothermal at each, or two at each cardinal direction to fight the cryoplasm. Because that way we don't have to worry about this as much, and we can use this as supplementary power. You know, that might even just like kick off. If I replaced, you know, that conduit with a geothermal right under here, that might be able to power this whole thing. And with the nature of conduits, you know, they work by equalizing the power between two batteries. So if I have like the four corners or the four cardinal directions with geothermals under them, you know, maxed out all the way to the magma caverns being freeze-on injected, well, that might let me these power themselves, you know, automatically, which means I could build more filters and all that to make the freeze-on production go even faster. You know, get this whole system completely built up all the way, right? So, you know, it's just like a cascading thing. But I'm actually pretty happy that the falcore bombers are working out. I'm going to just do this and grab this because the cryoplasm seems to avoid the glass if at all possible. It will eventually break through the glass, I think, if it has no choice. But if there is any kind of choice, it seems to not want to do that. Oh, man. Gosh. And then there's always like the power issue. I have 1,000 batteries and none of them that I can use. I wish you could draw power from these Mark IV batteries. That would just be like outstanding. All right, so we should be getting Dazzlers done soon. I think, oh man, I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to think about what the next priority should be. I need machine blocks to produce faster. And I need more particulate filtration, right? But look, this is already, those bombers have done quite a bit already. They have really kind of pushed back. Like, look at that. Especially if the bomber hits like a mass, you know, like a meaty part as opposed to like an end. It takes out a ton of that cryoplasm. So that bodes well. Another thing I need to do is complete the perimeter of batteries. So ideally, right, if we're looking at things in the most ideal way possible, that battery right there and the battery I have at the edge over here, they should be in the exact same position, just at different heights, right? So if I come here, what is the center of this? What is this line? Z equals 80, right? And you can see, you know, I've kind of expanded this out. I might need to make this a little bit more robust and have another battery maybe 25 meters this way and another 25 meters that way to really kind of create a front, you know, create like a place for this stuff to fight from. But what I'm going to do right now, if we're going to pretend as if, in fact, I'm gonna kind of create like a demonstration of what I'm gonna end up doing, right? So long term, I think what my plan is, let me do this and this. Long term, what we're gonna do is we are gonna have basically a 9x3 area right here, and what that's gonna consist of is it's gonna be a Mark IV battery, a space. Or really, it's going to be I think the Dazzlers are 3x3, right? So it'll be a Dazzler, Mark IV battery, Dazzler. And the Mark IV battery will be fed by two geothermal powers, right? So what's going to happen is that the Dazzler, I think, will just shoot, right? It'll shoot until there's either no cryoplasm or it's run out of power. So what that means is, you know, if Z equals 80 is our center line, right, then let me just do this, right? Then this section right here And let me put these back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, right? So where there is a gap right there, those two gaps will have dazzlers, like literally a dazzler right here. The dazzler will charge up and just fire into that cryoplasm, no problem. And it'll just destroy it. Again, dependent on power and cryoplasm availability. Then what we'll do is we'll make a series of, well, essentially it's going to look something like this, right? Maybe something like that. So there'll be nothing. I'll clear all this out. In fact, let me just, for sake of visuals, all of this stuff will be gone. At least to here. It might extend up even farther. And you might ask yourself, like, well, what's the point of all that, right? Well, the way these... How did I do this? I left that one up, and I went right there. There. Perhaps? Something like that. So what's going to happen is there's going to be kind of like a line. There's going to be a Mark IV battery right here. And on top of that Mark IV battery, there's going to be a series of lasers and Mark III batteries like this. And then similar to how I have this, I'm going to have one Lancer, two melters, right? So it'll be Lancer, melter, melter. The melters will melt the cryoplasm into a liquid state. It will then cascade down into these trenches that we're going to build. And then from there, the dazzlers will just eliminate everything in the middle. Everything that's in these trenches will get eliminated. So that's kind of how you do that. Now, one of the problems I have currently is that the cryoplasm has extended beyond the trench right here in the middle. So what we're going to do, we're going to have to use bombers and lancers like this. And that's kind of where these other batteries on the side come from. Oh, God. Don't go in there. So if I go out like 25 meters or so, like to here, from there, I can do very similar to this, just a line that goes down with lancers and stuff, and it'll just blow up all the stuff on the edges. So that way, because I think when the cryoplasm spawners create the cryoplasm, they prioritize the middle, right? The middle of like the straightest path to the C5, and then expand out to the outside once the density is at a certain threshold. I don't know what that threshold is, but once it reaches that, then it'll kind of stop and expand outwards. So we're going to kind of take advantage of that mechanic to make our defense whole. Let me just throw these on there. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan, you guys. In fact, I wonder if that research is done. Z equals 80, right? Let's see. Z equals 80. I want to go check and see how centered they are. Because the dazzlers are going to take so much power. In fact, one of the main creators I watch, one of the main YouTubers I watch for FortressCraft is Flexible Games. And we're at Z equals 80. So, yeah, this is on the exact same line. So, like, hypothetically, I could extend this all the way out and eventually reach that one over there, but we're not quite there yet. We have a lot of infrastructure to build up. But Flexible Games, he's the one that actually made this Auto Mark II excavator mod, this one. He also made a nuclear reactor mod, which it basically creates a little mini nuclear reactor that does 50,000 power per second, and that's what he uses to power the dazzlers. I'm not gonna do that. I feel like that's kind of that's like a super easy mode, you know. I guess you could argue that the hopper mod is super easy mode too, but it's better than mass storage. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to do it with geothermal and Mark IV batteries and conduits, and just going to kind of hope it works. You know, I might even be able to do some kind of like 3 battery setup where I do, you know, if I'm looking small scale, right? I could do battery, 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 and then dazzler. And then have, you know, a geothermal touching 2 batteries and conduits from the top or something. I don't know. there's a lot of ways we can kind of figure that out. So that's kind of the long-term plan. Let's actually go up and check that research, because I don't know what the dazzlers and stuff take to make, but I know we're gonna need it, you know. All right, and it looks like the research is done. So, do I have that compressed chlorine? No, I need more. This makes cryo mines, and that is actually, if I bring that up, the cryo mines are nice because they're kind of like static defense, right? So while we're focusing on one tendril, we're going to need to defend from the other tendrils, right? So we can use cryo mines to kind of help that. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the plan now, is to just build up blocks, increase our particulate filtration, to increase our production and build geothermals and all that kind of stuff. The geothermals are kind of the key to allowing us to go kind of bigger, right? Because, in fact, if we go back to the cold caverns, what I actually want to do is, if you look over here, I actually want to segregate this from that power line. So I want that power to just be for production down below, and this to be on its own circuit, so to speak. So, in fact, how are you guys doing? You're okay. What is... I don't know what's taking so long. It might just be that it's not getting enough cargo fast enough. Yeah, so we'll definitely have to build more pipes and stuff for that. The Molly's been doing phenomenal because it was on such a big vein to begin with. In fact, I don't even have these building, do I? Always build the blocks. Also, we haven't used the Molly for nearly as much as the chrome. You know, with the chrome, we were making the chrome lenses, which, you know, I got like 400 on me right now. In fact, there's another 100 right there. What do I got? Yeah, 495 lenses. So we're good on that, on the lenses for at least this short period of time. But we need the blocks. So let's actually pull up. Oh, I should have. Let me go back to the surface and unlock the dazzler, because I'm sure that's like a research part thing. All right, so let's see. Recipes. We are looking for cryoplasm dazzler turret. And we want the melter. Cryoplasm melter. There we go. Okay, so let's look at... Here, Arthur, you charge yourself up there. So, cryoplasm melter. Oh, that's actually pretty easy to build, honestly. That's actually, like, not bad because it uses these, which are a little bit easier to come by. The dazzler, compressed sulfur. I'm assuming this makes one part. Okay, so we are going to need way more laser energy transmitters Mark III. I think that's not a problem. I think we're kind of out of... I might have to think about my layout for alloyed machine blocks for these, because we're not making the most efficient use of nickel, I think. Compressed sulfur. This is, you compress anything. So, okay, so yeah, I think that'll be kind of nice. And then if we look at our geothermal, right? It's incredibly expensive too. So we need 1,500 of each block to make one geothermal generator. And then we need to feed it the heat conducting pipes, which I have been kind of building up in preparation for that. So there's, like I said, a lot going on, a lot that we're planning. And we may have to... I guess I'm going to have to make more filters, because that's kind of... We're just not getting that compressed stuff fast enough. In fact, what do I need for that? Can I make... I need 15 clicks. I only have 12. Because, again, chrome machine blocks. So, I want to actually get a couple more filters built in before I end this episode. So, I'll kind of wait for that stuff to build up so that I can do that. And then we'll probably call it an episode there. And actually, real quick, as I'm waiting for that stuff to build up, I know, like, those falcore bombers put quite a little dent, considering there was only about 50 to 60 bombs. I mean, it's quite... I mean, I know it doesn't look like a lot, but that's a lot to me, because I've been just so inundated with this stuff, you know, trying to at least keep the sensitive areas from being overrun. So I was reading it, and it seems like this stuff is made, the cryoplasm is made to not like end your game, but you definitely need to clean it up every so often. Like this won't be a game over, but it will be like a game paused while you do a bunch of other stuff scenario. So, you know, just another thing to do. But I think it's working out decently. Where was that one I put down here? Let me throw these last couple bombs in there. I don't even know where this one went to explode, honestly. I know, like I said, I know they go for things on different heights. Went somewhere in there. Oh, that's nice. Another thing we could potentially do is use melters to get this stuff all off the ceiling, get it down on the ground, and then just use lancers to just destroy it. But you know, we'll see. All right. Anyway, back to building up my stuff. All right. So let's throw another filter here on the chlorine. I'm doing this one over the sulfur because some of our defensive stuff needs it, and I just think it'll be a little bit easier. All right, and luckily I had that already not powered. I gotta like get in here. There we go. There we go. All right, so now I just got to hit that with a laser. Whoops. A laser. And it'll do its thing. Now, I don't know if that's going to trigger like another surge of cryoplasm, honestly. So, we'll kind of see, right? And from the way everything's set up, it looks like I'll be able to put another compressor right here. So compressor. And then another filter. I think I have enough to put another filter over here. And then the same thing right here. So I can get at least 3 fully maxed out compressors right around this. And the 4th compressor, if I keep everything here, we'll have to just kind of move out a little bit and just be piped in kind of weird. But I think it'll work just fine, and we know we'll have to power it in like its own little way. But all right, I'll see you guys when we're at the magma caverns. And I don't know how this happened, but we got cryoplasm on our generators, on our turbines. So I guess it's a matter of finding some lancers, because I'm a little bit low on lancers, and moving them over here. In fact, I can even put one right there and right there. And hopefully, it looks like we're putting in more power than we're taking out so far. Yeah, so those should... Okay, there we go. One thing I'm going to look into also while I'm waiting for this stuff to build in. I know I said I'm going to like end it soon, but you know, of course I've got a bunch of other stuff to do. Freeze-on injectors. Are you in here? Are you in here? Freeze-on injector. Okay. Attach to a storage hopper to inject compressed freeze-on into compatible machines. Magnetic machine block and 4 lancers? Jeez. Those aren't exactly cheap. This is like the end game. You know what I mean? Ultimate upgrade modules. God, that's going to be so expensive. We're basically going to have to This I know can take freeze-on also. Freeze-on, I don't know if it uses the injectors or what, but once we're at this point, this is the point after we do the frozen factory stuff, right? So Once we get to this point, we're basically going to completely change the factory to exclusively produce ultimate upgrade modules, and then freeze on, right? So we'll probably have like 2 or 3 of those setups going, those setups. So just, you know, it's just a lot of stuff to do. And all right, looks like this is creeping a little bit, but we have some defense. So hopefully it just doesn't creep too much. All right, I'll bring you guys back in a second. All right, guys, so things are taking a little bit longer than I would like to get the particulate filtration system set up a little bit more. So I'm actually going to call it an episode here. I did finally craft all the pipes needed to really get the chrome moving. So hopefully this keeps the lift here saturated with ore. So we don't really have to worry too much about anything from here on out as far as this is concerned. With the exception of maybe tapping into that other chrome vein we have somewhere back there. I'll probably explore a little off camera, you know, do a little bit here and there. But next time, next episode, I think I want to work on maybe geothermal, maybe. I want to try to get some lancers and some melters and kind of just start doing something like that a little bit. But of course, you know, as always, we need like infrastructure, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, we'll kind of see how it goes. And, but anyway, guys, thank you so much for sticking with me this episode. I hope, you know, if you like the content, hit that subscribe button. You know, leave me any comments down below. I'm really learning a lot from you guys from the comments. So, you know, definitely love the comments. Leave them down below. Plus, you know, they help out with the algorithm, stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. So, all right, guys, again, thank you so much. And we'll see you in the next one.